If you choose the wrong type of hardwood flooring, it could result in buckling, warping, and costing you thousands of dollars. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact criteria you need to consider when choosing your hardwood floor. 1. Durability. When you say hardwood, you think I'm talking about all woods that are hard. Well, it actually just means trees that lose their leaves. Not all hardwoods are hard and not all of them are durable, and many softwoods are used as hardwood flooring as well. We use the Janka hardness scale to measure how hard a wood is. The harder the wood, the more resistant to scratching and denting. The Janka scale is how many pounds it takes to press a 0.44-inch steel ball halfway into a certain wood. Balsa wood is around 100 pounds, whereas hickory is around 1,820 pounds. There are some ridiculous foreign woods that are all the way up to 5,000. For example, Australian Balaki. I have no idea how to say it. If you don't mind the red of Brazilian cherry, it comes in at 2,320 on the Janka scale. But most people hate that nowadays, so you should probably go with something that's a little more versatile, like hickory, or if you want to go lower than that, you've got your oaks around the 12 to 1,300 mark. Just because the wood is really hard itself does not mean that it's going to wear better necessarily. Now, your extremely soft woods like pine, they will wear very poorly every time. But will a hickory that's an 1,800 on the scale wear much better than an oak that's a 1,300 on the scale? Not really, because the finish in both cases is generally going to break down and expose the wood before the wood ever gives way. The main benefit to extremely hard woods is that the damage doesn't go as deep. So the dents aren't as deep, the scratches aren't as deep. So when you do get the floor refinished, you don't have to take as thick of a layer off the floor. But who cares about scratching and denting if your floor is buckling up and it has to be torn out because it got too moist? This brings us to volatility. Woods expand with increased moisture and they shrink when the moisture decreases. Some woods expand and contract much more when exposed to moisture than others. If you live in a very dry, arid part of the country, let's say somewhere in Arizona where the temperature is pretty steady and the humidity is very dry all year round, this is not as big of a deal to you. But if you live somewhere like in Michigan where we are located, there's massive humidity swings. Now, there are modern construction technologies such as the zip system or really fancy HVAC systems that can help control the humidity in your house. But for most older houses, the humidity comes through the walls, it comes through the windows, and even if you've got a little dehumidifier unit, it's probably not going to do the trick. You just need to plan for expansion in the summer and contraction in the winter. The wider the plank of flooring you go with, the more you need to worry about expansion. Hardwood floors look tight on the top, but down underneath, there's actually a gap underneath the tongue, and where the tongue goes into the groove, there's actually space in there as well. So the boards can actually swell underneath without causing a problem. It's only when the swelling is pretty bad and the top really starts to push together that they start to lift up and really be noticeable. The wider those boards are, the less of that extra expansion room you have, and the more likely it is to cup upwards when it swells. Narrow width floors, say 3 1/4 inch wide and narrower, suffer from far less moisture problems than the wider ones. I can't tell you how many times we come out to someone's house and they've got a 6-inch solid oak or a 7-inch hickory, and just a minor water problem happened, but we've got to rip the floor out in some areas because it swelled so much, it reacted like crazy, and you can't just sand it and call it good. If you're going 4 inches or wider and you live in a climate that has a lot of fluctuation, you're going to want to consider engineered. If you go that route, just make sure you've got the full 6mm wear layer and that it's from a high quality mill. Species that move the most with moisture are hickory, maple. The ones that move the least are your softwoods like pine, and the ones that move an average amount, somewhere in the middle, your oaks. If you want to go with a wide plank hickory or maple, you must plan for the moisture. That might mean actually installing it with purposeful gaps to allow it to swell in the summer, or getting a specialty HVAC system put in to control the humidity in your home. 3. Versatility. In the beginning, you just want the look you're going for, whether that's that beachy look or whatever's on your mind. And you're probably not thinking about 8-10 years down the road when that's out of style and you want something new. Brazilian cherry will pretty much always be red, no matter what you stain it. Walnut will always be dark, no matter how much you stain it. And red oak will always have a hint of pink in it. On the other hand, some floors can look good in almost any form. For example, white oak. You can stain it light, you can stain it dark, you can leave it natural, you can make it red, you can even make it funky colors like green if you want to. If you want to leave your options open in the future, I recommend you go with something highly versatile like the white oak we talked about just a second ago. 4. Cost. Hardwood floors are a luxury. I know there's much cheaper flooring options out there, and you want to get the best return off your investment. The biggest mistake I see with homeowners when they're choosing a type of hardwood flooring is saving a few $1,000s to get a floor that they don't truly love. If you really want a wide plank white oak floor and it's going to cost another 15 grand over adding on to what you currently have, I would recommend you wait till you have the money, rip it out, and get the floor you truly love. After all, if this was just for practicality's sake, you'd probably just have plywood floors. I know there's a crowd of people who's just looking for the cheapest options though. If that's you, hickory is pretty cheap right now, red oak is pretty cheap right now, and if you want, say, a white oak or a maple, you're probably going to pay 10 to 20% more than those base rates. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know which factor plays the biggest part in your decision down in the comments.